Now officially, hello. My name is Natalia Gozdur. I'm a city project manager at EIT Urban Mobility. Thank you all for joining us today. Today we are, as I said, in the City Challenge presentation part 2. A quick reminder, we've already held a general info session on Monday, where we explained in details the application process, evaluation for the call, etc. And yesterday we had 7 cities already presenting their challenges, and both recording from the sessions are or will be soon available on the Raptor website. So you can always get that information. So now let me guide you through the agenda of today's webinar, so you know what to expect in the next hour 15 minutes. So we will start off with an overview of the main features of the call, who can apply, the timeline, just to recap on general but important information of the call. Then we will go to the most exciting part. City challenges explained by the city representatives from Dublin, Gothenburg, Nantes, Nicosia, Thessaloniki, Utrecht, and Trondheim. So just to remind you, again, all the details of the call are available on the website. Today we'll focus on the city challenge definition, and at the end we will have some Q&A session. It's a very good moment and opportunity to ask and clarify your doubts about the challenges, as you can also find in the Raptor website. So let's move on to the call overview. And what is Raptor? So Raptor stands for Rapid Application for Transport. It's a city-driven, challenge-based and agile innovation program at EIT Urban Mobility. And Raptor aims to connect city mobility challenges with innovative solutions provided by startups. Awarded solutions receive 40,000 euros and have 6 months to develop and test their solution in situ, in the city. So that's the core of the program. But some numbers maybe as a context. So since 2021, Raptor has piloted 44 innovative solutions in 36 cities. And we have now new cities in our 2025 edition. In all our previous calls, we received more than 500 applications from startups, and looking forward to the new ones this year. What are the specific Raptor objectives for each of the parts involved in the program? So for cities, the program facilitates the testing of innovative solution in a real life environment before the city commits to large-scale investments. So it's a great opportunity to learn what works and to evaluate the potential of the solution to address their challenge. For startups, Raptor offers an opportunity to showcase their innovation, obviously access to financial support, and to tailor their solutions to market needs. From our side, as EIT Urban Mobility, Raptor is one of our mechanisms to accelerate the transition to sustainable mobility in cities and to scale impactful innovation at the EU level. So what Raptor is looking for is to develop a new or significantly improved existing product that solves city challenges. And now let's see who can apply to Raptor Call. As a reminder, the Raptor Call is targeted at startups and SMEs. The companies should be registered as legal entities in either an EU member state or a third country associated to Horizon Europe, including the United Kingdom and Switzerland. It's addressed to a single legal entities, therefore consortia are not allowed to apply for this call. It's also a condition that SMEs cannot have been funded in previous edition of Raptor, 2024 edition of Raptor, or SME market expansion call. So you can always double check with us, but the solutions that were the winners for the previous editions cannot participate in this one. Also, please remember that if you've received funding from the EIT Urban Mobility for a product development before, you also should not present the same product in this call. Participants should be registered in the EU funding and tender portal. More information on that was given on Monday, so please refer to that recording. My colleagues were explaining a bit more on the application process itself. And obviously, applicants must respond to the city challenge. So that's the main idea. Submissions to multiple city challenges are allowed. So if you think your solutions can fit 2 or 3 cities, you can apply, but only 1 award per applicant can be given. So you can only win 1 of the city challenges. So if you comply with those, you can apply via our NetSuite platform. Again, on Monday, we've given a lot of details on that. So please go there and you can see step by step on how to apply. So, and why to participate? Why the startups and all our attendees from today should participate in Raptor? So, I mean, it's a great opportunity to collaborate directly with city stakeholders, to design, adjust your solution for the specific city needs. Obviously, received funding and support from us to develop and test your solution. I mean, your solution then will be tested, which will provide you a visibility and a chance to scale it across Europe. And in general, I mean, it's an opportunity to contribute to making cities more sustainable and livable. Now, a bit of a recap on call timeline when it comes to the key dates. As you know, we launched the call last week on the 12th of December. So the call is open. You can already submit your proposals, and it will be open until 12th of February. So there is still time, but please do not leave your submission until the very last day. We are always here to support you during the process. And once the call is closed, we will have 2 phases of evaluation. The first is quality evaluation, and then in April, the top selected solutions will go into panel hearings. There will be 1 panel hearing per city. In May, we will have time for a contracting process with the winners. And we would like to start the projects in June 1st until November 30th. So this is the time we have, the 6 months we have for the project development and implementation. Please remember always to refer to the call manual, which is the most important document for this call. It's available on the EIT Urban Mobility Raptor call website. And if you have any doubts, you can always reach out to us. And now let's move on to the most exciting part of the Raptor, which are the city challenges. Today we have representatives from 7 cities with us to explain their challenges firsthand. We will start with Dublin and the first presentation on their challenge on safe on-street EV charging. So,
hi, I will. Hi, Natalie. I'm going to take the first few slides from Dublin, the generic slides, and then I'll hand over to James Phelan, Senior Engineer over Roads and Beaches. So just give me a second while I share my screen.
So the slides are shared, so we can go ahead with the slides. Okay, I have them all.
Okay, so if you want to show the first few generic slides for Dublin, and I'll talk through it. Just a tiny bit of background first, who I am and the team that I work with in Dún Laoghaire Local Authority. So my name is Ronan Hearn. I lead the digital strategy team, which means that I lead the team that kind of keeps an eye to the future horizon of technology, to try to understand how that can fit in with the work that we do and improve service delivery for our citizens. So in that context, I try to engage far and wide, as we've done with EIT Urban Mobility, to look at solutions that work for the organization, and then to try and match those with the teams internally who lead on service delivery. So in that context, we would have spotted this challenge and engaged with yourselves in EIT Urban Mobility, and then brought James Phelan and Mary Higgery on board to develop the challenge. So the challenge that we're talking about for our municipality, for Dún Laoghaire, Dún Laoghaire is an old town, many narrow streets. So if you were to buy an EV car and you don't have on-street parking, there's a challenge around charging. Even if you did have on-street parking, you can't very well trail an electrical lead across the public footpath. So that's the nuts of what it is that we're trying to meet with this challenge. So it's how can we safely provide EV charging for residents without driveways, integrating infrastructure seamlessly with public footpaths while meeting health and safety standards. The pilot will be tested in our decarbonised zone. So Dún Laoghaire town is part of our wider decarbonised zone, or as they're known in Europe, low emission zones. And we really want everyone approaching this challenge to look at it from the side of the road. Look at everything that's there and think about what could be done to try to alleviate this challenge. So if you want to move to the next slide, Natalie. So the goals for the challenge are, we want to get an idea of the interest in EV adoption based on charging improvements. We have an underlying assumption that that challenges around charging are a barrier to EV adoption. So we would like to test that assumption. We want to reduce and, if possible, eliminate EV charging cables running across public footpaths. And we want to have a look at the number of community members that we can engage in the pilot. And we want to understand the challenges from their point of view through surveys and various forms of feedback. Utilization factor for the charging units, more than 25% will show significant local requirements and uptake. So I suppose what we're speaking to there is a unique challenge offered by the various sites that could be available within a town such as Dún Laoghaire. The successful solution should be attractive for all citizens as well. It should blend with the architecture and the feeling and the urban style. And we would hope to see that we would end up with a solution that is fit for purpose, that is elegant, that is unobtrusive, and that fits within the existing context of the public realm. Obviously, the solution should comply with all EV charging standards and should be certified and tested, and should be vandal resilient. Next slide, please. So, James, I think I'll let you come in here and you can speak to the particular challenges around electric vehicle charging in Dún Laoghaire.
Yeah. I'm not sure, Natalia, sorry, if you have a further one on the slides beyond that. If not, I can share the screen.
Yes, there is a specific slides that Thomas shared. So.
Yeah. Sorry, Natalia, are you going to move to the next one, or will I share? I'm struggling to hear. Okay, there we go. Yeah. No, that's great. Thanks very much. Yeah, and we can start on that one. The first one, I suppose, is just a bit of a graphic to give you imagery of some of what we have done. So I'm sorry, I'll just introduce myself very briefly to begin with as well. As Ronan mentioned, I'm senior engineer in road maintenance and public lighting within Dún Laoghaire at Down County Council. So our EV strategy and I suppose EV charge point rollout within Dún Laoghaire at Down County Council is ran through our public lighting section. So myself and Mary Hegarty, who should be joining us shortly, and Mary's the senior executive engineer who oversees the lighting and EV section. So we're I suppose we're still relatively in the infancy of rolling out EV charging infrastructure. So this slide gives a little bit of background, I suppose, to where we are. So we've, for the past couple of years, we've been in the process of procuring a framework for rapid chargers, and we've just entered into a contract since July of this year with an appointed provider with a view to rolling out. At the minute, we've identified 10 proposed locations with 2 to 4 chargers per site, and they'll be 100 to 200 kilowatt chargers. Now that's it's been set up as a framework, so we would be looking to scale significantly from there in the coming years. And that's really our first kind of more significant mobilization of rapid charging infrastructure within the local authority. Prior to that, what we've done to date really has been on a more of an ad hoc basis within the local authority. So as we've mentioned there in the second point, the destination EV charging. So we've got 17 slow chargers across, or what would be classed as the lower end of charging across a number of different locations. You know, and we are looking to in the next year to run a longer term contract arrangement with a view to installing up to 150 proposed chargers across the county. So I suppose from our perspective, this exercise is very much about gathering information. I suppose, what are the potential options out there? And we would view the outcome of this pilot as advising our potential procurement strategy around that charging infrastructure going forward. So, you know, we're still very much in the stage, in the phase of getting to grips with what technology is out there that can meet some of our challenges. And then separately, the final point there, we've also been involved in some trials with the ESB around the X-Hub, which is basically around integrating charging infrastructure in close proximities, where we've also got e-bikes as well to give you that, I suppose, fully accessible transport system between your sustainable charging infrastructure and your electric vehicles, and then your electric bikes. And we're also, as a final point there, where some of you might be aware of the ongoing issues with previous issues with the ESB in relation to the private wire infrastructure and metering requirements. So we've been trialling, we're in the process of trialling a solution with a built-in meter cabinet into the charging unit. So this slide, I suppose, just gives a high-level summary of some of the challenges. So as Ronan alluded to, we're looking to pilot this in the decarbonisation zone in Dunleary town itself. So we have narrow footpaths, we have issues with network capacity in terms of supply points, and we've also got certain restrictions around parking spaces. So, we're looking for a solution that, where possible, can integrate with the existing constraints of the footpath widths and street furniture. You know, there may be a requirement to modify some of the existing parking arrangements to ensure appropriate accessibility for what solutions we are proposing or are being proposed to us, I suppose. I think the other thing that it would be important to emphasise at this stage, in Dunleary town, where we're looking to pilot this, most of the residential areas we'd be talking about where they don't have off-street parking, it's all council-owned land, council-owned parking. So we're likely to be looking at solutions where they'd be paid charging solutions, where residents would sign up effectively and pay a subscription, because they'd have to be publicly available. As the residents in Dunleary don't necessarily have, privately owned parking spaces that are on street, and it would need to be a solution, I suppose, that's accessible to all. Now, I suppose on a broader scale beyond Dunleary, I suppose for the purpose of this pilot, we're focused on Dunleary, but it is worth also mentioning that, with a lot of the new developments that are coming into our charge within Dunleary or at Down County Council, it's becoming much more common with new development designs that you would have a privately owned resident, you then might have residents that you then might have a publicly owned footpath directly outside that property, and then beyond that, a privately owned parking space. So, albeit not for the purpose of this pilot within Dunleary, in the future we would be looking at solutions that can, I suppose, facilitate residents installing a connection to their own private parking space, but with a requirement to cross a public footpath. And obviously there's considerations, I suppose, around insurance requirements, and the practicalities of our longer term maintenance regime. So, really, we're trying to approach this with an open mind at this stage, as to what might work. So we're really open to what the market has to offer in terms of overcoming this challenge. But I suppose the main issue for the purpose of this pilot is it's focused in Dunleary, where you've got restricted footpaths, and you've got generally parking spaces that are council owned. So we're looking at a universal solution that would be a paid solution that's open to all public, and obviously the residents that would be using the spaces outside their property. So things like bollard solutions, potential in-ground socket solutions that avoid any accessibility issues on the footpaths, where we have an open mind really, I suppose, to what might be proposed, or as I said, leveraging existing street furniture where that might be possible as well. So I hope that sets a little bit of the background to where we're at. So I'll maybe pass you back to Natalie from here.
Thank you, Ronan, for providing more context on Dublin's challenge. And now we are traveling to Gothenburg, and Jonas will give us an overview of their city challenge. Jonas, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Natalie. Yes, my name is Jonas Eriksson from Gothenburg here in Sweden, on the west coast of Sweden, and I'm representing the business development agency for the city of Gothenburg. So, to the background, the city of Gothenburg aims to promote the use of electric bikes and cargo bikes for commercial purposes, to encourage quiet and emission-free transport of goods and people in the city center, and by that, creating a more cleaner and spacious environment. Next slide. And we had a recent launch of Sweden's first mobility hotel, which gained a lot of notice here in Gothenburg and in Sweden, where we're combining micromobility and micro-logistics services to transport both people and goods within the inner city of Gothenburg. There is an increased interest from businesses in doing this transitioning from their cars and vans to the more sustainable modes of transport. And what has been mentioned from these actors as one of the key advantages for switching from traditional cars and vans to micro or mini mobility is the ease with how you can go about in the city and find a parking free of charge. At the same time, the current state is that micromobility is still used in a limited scope for commercial use in the city. But what will happen when these solutions gain acceptance and grow? Will we get to crowded curbsides? Will we see a chaos like what we have had with e-scooters? If we are not early out to find ways to prioritize and regulate parking for these vehicles, the problems might lead to rollback in our city and perhaps also in more cities that would like to do this change. And this time, we think we need to think before we have the problem. So Gothenburg is now looking for innovative technological solutions to map and simulate urban areas and collect data on the behaviors, routes, and parking requirements of sustainable small vehicles, how they are used for professional purposes. And we think that by gathering the data on the flow and usage patterns of these vehicles, the city aims to identify optimal locations for designated parking areas, ensuring that infrastructure effectively supports users and enhances the overall flow of city life in the city. And we think that we will gain valuable insights into the dynamics of the city center and improve planning for sustainable commercial e-mobility. And I'd like to stress that we are not looking for physical bike parking solutions. From the actor that we choose in this project, we expect the data collection on the flows, usage patterns, and parking behaviors of the current cargo bikes used in the city center. We would like to see how this data can lead to improved decision-making processes based on this real-time data, leading to optimized parking locations and infrastructure. We like to enhance our understanding of the user needs and behaviors, and also allowing for tailored services and improved user satisfaction for the ones that are moving away from cars and vans to other modes of transport, focusing on e-mobility and micromobility. And also see how can we, by focusing on the current usage and also simulations, effectively identify congestion points and areas that that's needing intervention, and facilitating proactive management of urban space instead of just realizing it in a later stage where we need to act. So the last slide, the city business development, which I represent, will have the ownership of this project, but we work together with other key departments in the city, such as the parking company, that is responsible for almost all of the parking spaces in Gothenburg, which also owned by the municipality, and also the urban development department and the transportation department of the city. And by having this group, we think we can also help and aid the ones that are implementing the solutions in the best way to have a successful project in the end. And by that, I'm looking forward to your questions or also your applications in the later stage. Thank you.
Exciting challenge, and yeah, let's see what solutions are out there for you. Short trip to Nantes in France. We have Oliver with us to explain better their challenge regarding light vehicle renting. So Oliver, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Natalia. So my name is Oliver. I'm living in Nantes. It's a 300,000 inhabitant city located in the west of France. I'm an urban project manager. I'm working in one of the urban development agency of the city, and we operate specifically on the island of Nantes, which is located in the very city center. By now, we are currently developing new neighborhoods focused on reducing car dependency for urban mobility. To do so, in the past years, we focused on two strategies to reduce carbon emissions and the 15-minute city concept to shorten the distances. And we also developed new bike paths on public transport to reduce the use of cars. You have a map here that shows that there is 6 different tramway and high-frequency buses lane that crosses the island, so that's already a lot. And to go even further, we need to offer specific mobility services to address punctual needs, such as carrying heavy loads, traveling 20 to 30 kilometers to the suburbs, transporting passengers with low mobility, because these specific needs cannot be achieved with bikes and public transport. So our challenge is how can we offer mobility services such as carts, cargo bikes, light electric vehicles, or other solutions to help people to move without a car. If you can, yeah, thank you, Natalia. To do so, we expect that the pilots will help people enjoy driving these new vehicles, and maybe even consider that people will consider selling their car because they don't need it anymore. And to reach that goals, we expect solutions like different type of vehicles to match the use case I presented before. We expect also solutions easy to use and easy to deploy in the city. And also we like to have attractive prices for users. To settle in the experimentation, there are a few things you need to anticipate. So we also need to know if the solutions you propose will operate on the roads or on bike paths or both, maybe. And important, the solution will need to be certified to be driven in France. Otherwise, the experimentation might not be allowed by the city authorities. We also need to know where your vehicles needs to be stored. Is it outside or inside or in public or private places? And if you have specific needs, such as electricity or secure access, for instance. And we also need to know how long you will be testing the vehicles. We think that's in like 1 or 2 months might be good, or maybe more. But if it's 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, that might be a bit short. So we hope for a longer duration of the testing. So that's sorry, that's finished for me. I'm done. And if you have any questions, please just let me know. Thank you, Natalia.
If you have a specific question to any of the cities presenting, please use the Q&A box, and the cities will either reply now in writing or later on will address during the live session. So thank you, Oliver, very much. Now we are flying to Cyprus, Nicosia. We have Charis with us to explain us a bit better their city challenge.
Yes, hello, good morning from this part of Europe. So my name is Charis Theocharous, and I work for the European International Affairs Office of Nicosia Municipality, and I'm here representing the rest of the teams that are working on this project together. Okay. So the city challenge of Nicosia is the optimized waste collection routing, and how can Nicosia efficiently optimize waste collection routes and reduce emissions. The problem we are trying to solve has become actually bigger in the past few months, because since July this year, following a local reform in Cyprus, Nicosia municipality has got much bigger. So from 55,000 people, we're now 140,000 people. So Nicosia faces inefficiencies in its waste collection system due to frequent vehicle breakdowns, which reduces capacity by nearly 1/3. Geographical constraints such as narrow streets, mainly in the old part of the city, which is surrounded by Venetian walls. There are varying vehicle sizes, complicated route planning, and increases inefficiencies. And there is an underutilization of existing GPS technology. This results in increased operational costs, emissions, and service delays, which are further complicated by the upcoming policy change, such as the pay-as-you-throw system, which is expected to begin in 2026, which affects the waste and volume and the planning of the routing in the city. Next slide, please. So how will the success look like? Success will mean an efficient, environmentally friendly, and financially sustainable waste collection system for Nicosia that meets the needs of its citizens while aligning with decarbonization goals. We expect that the solution to provide a dynamic and efficient waste collection routes that save time and resources while effectively servicing all areas of the city, including the narrows and the densely populated areas of the city. Our goals and expected outcomes are to achieve a measurable reduction in operational time, fuel use, and CO2 emissions while improving public satisfaction with waste collection services. We aim to ensure financial sustainability by lowering operational costs and integrate the upcoming pay-as-you-throw system effectively. Additionally, the solution should be adaptable to future challenges and scalable for broader implementation. Thank you. Next slide, please. So the key departments from the municipality that are involved in these projects is the Waste Management Department, which oversees the daily operations and ensures efficiency service delivery. The Mechanical Engineering Department, which is responsible for the maintenance of the GPS system and the vehicle performance. And the Smart City team of the city, which focuses on implementing any technological new solutions. We have historical route data, fuel consumption records, and vehicle performance metrics, which are important for any solution that will be proposed. There is infrastructure support, such as vehicle maintenance facilities and existing GPS systems that for real-time tracking and route planning, that can also be provided to the suggested solution. Thank you.
Again, if there are any specific questions or any further doubts from our participants, please let us know so Charis and the team can address them. And now we are moving to another city in this Raptor 2025 edition, Thessaloniki in Greece, and we have Antti and Sandy to explain their challenge.
Yes. Thank you, Natalia. I guess that you can see me and you can hear me mostly. I am Antti Transportation Engineer I'm representing the major development agency Thessaloniki on behalf of the city of Thessaloniki. MDAT has been is actually a major development agency for all the municipalities of the metropolitan urban area of Thessaloniki, and specifically with the municipality of Thessaloniki and the city of Thessaloniki. We have been strategically supporting them to elaborate our climate city contract, and thus Thessaloniki is one of the EU mission labeled cities. However, our core challenge lies in the limited availability of real-time urban freight data, which can be used by the city authorities, despite the widespread use of advanced telematic systems among logistics companies. So if I can speak in statistics, the transportation and logistics sector significantly contributes at 23% of Thessaloniki's total emissions, equivalent to 209 kilotons CO2 per year. As the city aims for climate neutrality by 2030, the growing demand for urban freight, especially last mile deliveries, that it is estimated to 30% increase by 2030, it threatens to further increase emissions and congestion. Thus, here is a map so that you can have a sense of the distributions of the commercial establishments in Thessaloniki, a map for the spatial distribution, and some statistics for the businesses in Thessaloniki. We have approximately 5,500 commercial establishments, mostly located in the city center and in the eastern part of the city. 60% of the businesses place daily orders daily, and we have more than 1,100 tons of incoming cargo per day. Concerning the courier services, there has been moved more than 10,000 parcels per day, emitting estimated 6.5 tons CO2 emissions daily. Thus, we are coming to the challenge. Next slide, please. Not challenge, actually, to the actions we have performed up to now. The Sustainable Urban Mobility Plan, implementing for the city of Thessaloniki and afterwards integrated in our climate city contract, of course, plan specific projects for restrictions at the city center. Also, electrification of vehicles and taxis. Of course, electrification of the buses, of the public transport, and of course of some emergency vehicles, both municipal vehicles, but also of other authorities like the police and the fire department, and ambulances, of course. Also, the Thessaloniki Municipality Council has proposed and authorized a specific framework for loading and unloading restrictions like night deliveries, exception for specific only supply chain, designed hours for loading and unloading in the historical market, and of course some restrictions on the size and the weight of the load. However, still we lack of a sustainable urban logistics plan, urban freight transport plan. So at the next slide, what we would expect, as we have also mentioned, the lack of real-time data on freight movement limits the city's ability to implement effective and emissions reducing strategies. Thus, the challenge of collecting urban freight data in Thessaloniki aligns closely with the city's plans, as it addresses the critical need for accurate real-time data to support the establishment of the Sustainable Urban Freight Transport Plan, one of the city's pathways to its strategical goal towards climate neutrality by 2030, and of course reducing CO2 emissions and thus upgrading citizens' quality of life. So our solution expectation would be a secure, trusted platform for data sharing and analysis to drive collaboration and innovation among the stakeholders, the city, of course, and the stakeholders. And our key outcomes would be that we could develop our sustainable urban freight transport plan on accurate data information, thus implement plans to reduce freight traffic and emissions, improve traffic management and delivery efficiency, and of course, thus strengthen the collaboration among the city planners and the logistics operators, logistics service operators. So I think that would be our last slide.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we're open to any questions they
Exactly. Please take this opportunity. It's a great opportunity to ask your question directly to the city representatives. That's the only opportunity right now, so please do not miss it. We are now moving to Utrecht, Netherlands, and we have Ismira with us that will present their challenge on park and ride optimization. So Ismira, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Natalia. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ismira Anindia. I'm a policy advisor on parking strategy. And joining me today is my colleague Rens Jonker, advisor on mobility behavior and management. And we are both representing the Department of Mobility of the city of Utrecht. As you can see, this is a nice city. In the picture was a nice city, city center of Utrecht without any cars, and we would like to keep it that way. And that's why we want to go with this challenge, namely how to optimize the use of the PNR, that stands for Park and Ride Facilities, and make them more attractive and accessible. Because we would like to stimulate people to park their cars outside the city center, or at least on the edge of the city center, and then to continue their journey by public transport. At this moment is only possible with public transport, and we would like to stimulate more of that. We are talking about the park and ride locations that's located at the edge of the city, and the concept of, or the objective of these park and ride facilities is that you park your car there in the parking garage or parking facilities, and then you need to continue your journey by other modes than car, and now at this moment is by public transport. But at this moment, only 30% of the use of the park and ride is as intended, while a large majority of the users use it mainly only for parking, so as a parking garage. So they're not continuing their journey by public transport, and they're using it as a final destination because they work there or they have another purpose to be there. And we think that this mainly caused because of the complicated concept of the park and ride. You cannot plan your trip, for example, beforehand on how you need to do it, let's say. And there's also like minimum to none of a real-time information, which makes for the user very difficult to plan their trip and to use the park and ride. And yeah, we see this as a challenge, and we would like to see the increase in the park and ride user. Next slide, please. Yes, indeed. So a little bit of the context of the city policy, let's say. So in Utrecht, we are aiming to we have a lot of ambitions in mobility, which is all written down in the mobility plan for 2040. We would like to stimulate sustainable mobility, and that includes we would like to reduce car usage, especially to and from the city center, which means that we want to have less traffic to the inner city and also less parking on the street to make the city center and the whole city mostly more livable. And this map shows the location of the park and ride facilities. As you can see, we have now 4 facilities on the edge of the city ring. Mainly used for the commuters and the visitors of the city. But in the future, we will also use these facilities also for the residents of the city, which makes it more challenging for us because we need to also accommodate them in the whole PNR journey of the customer journey of the PNR facilities. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we are pretty open in this challenge. Like any solutions is for us good. At least we will try to test any solution that come up from this challenge. We would like to emphasize that we are not really looking for a hardware solution, so like bigger parking facilities for the bike, for example, but we are more looking into the whole customer journey, but then in the digital way, let's say. So we would like to see an increase of the intended use of the park and ride, which means that occupancy from the city visitors, of commuters, or later on in inhabitants going towards the city are increasing, and also the satisfaction of the visitor using the park and ride facilities also increasing. So we would like to have a more user-friendly park and ride concept application. So we're not really focused on an app, for example, but it could be anything where user can get real-time information, for example, on occupation, price, and reservation, and they can plan their trip ahead, so they can they're stimulated, let's say, to use the park and ride facilities. And we also open to the possibility to integrate the stair mobility option into the park and ride facilities. We are now having parallel with this challenge also a pilot to have this possibility. So in the end, maybe we can combine these two solutions from this challenge and also from the other trajectory to connect with the whole mass application system. So I think that would be it from us.
Thank you very much, Mira. Thank you for the context, for the challenge, very interesting one as well. Let's see what interesting submissions we will get in the Raptor for your city. Last but not least, Trondheim, Norway, we have Ida with us to present their challenge. Ida, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. My name is Ida Maria Henriksen. I'm a senior advisor at the Climate and Environment Unit in Trondheim Municipality. Trondheim Municipality is a city that is population about 212 people, and we are in the middle of Norway, so it's a bit windy and cold. The challenge I want to present today is that the municipality needs something to real-time monitoring and report of loading and unloading zone to optimize last mile deliveries. And one of my main tasks in the municipality is to work with last mile distance. I know that Utrecht had done a lot of this, but we are lacking behind. So goods delivery in Norway is a good example of sub-optimization. So what pays off for the big transport companies don't pay off for the city as a whole. And when we are doing manual counting, because we don't have any other way of measuring this, we do find out that transport to shopping malls only deliver one package to one shop in a shopping mall, when they could deliver up to 65 at the same time. So we have something to go on here when it comes to city logistic. And when it comes to city logistic, we also come into this delivery zones, and how can we optimize this in a way to how can we, I think we are, you can change the slides. We are looking for a solution that can give us information about how much air do the vans deliver in a way, or how much volume do they come with, or a system that can say something, when is this delivery zone available? It's the same that the other ones have been present also. So we know that if the delivery zones are not available, then the trucks have to go many rounds and generate more traffic. So it's like, I think about two kind of solutions, maybe together or two different. One that says something about the volumes that goes to every address, and something also about some can track the system about safety, because we know that some zones are not dedicated zones because the heavy duty trucks are delivering goods on the sidewalks where the bicycles are, like that. So we need a way of can I say, to report on the condition on the loading zones so we can make them better. So that's what I want in a way. And what are your goals and expect outcomes? Assist and help us measure the impact of optimizing the goods delivery, and a system that can make the city more safe and efficient of loading zones. So it's up to the startups to decide if this is one or two tasks, I think. Yes, I think I will end there. Just ask if it's a question.
Very much for giving us a bit of context on your challenge and what the city is looking for to test. So we arrived now with the end of our Euro trip. Just to remind you, we have all of those cities participating in this Raptors edition. You can access the information on each of the challenges in the written form on our website. Please make sure to read them thoroughly and propose your solution that fits to the city challenge. We are eager to see all the applications until the 12th of February. Thank you all very much for joining today. Thank you to the city representatives for sharing their insights on each of the city challenges. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us via agileInnovationTeam@eitUrbanMobility.eu. We also encourage you to visit our website. All the information, as I mentioned, will be available on the website, where you can see the call manual and the recordings for the previous sessions and this session. So thank you again, and looking forward to your applications.